making the cheers in the ambience. I got a ring, but think then again, I'm such a winner, I'll win again. Some think I'm a Viking or maybe a wizard. I feel like I'm both when I'm in the ring. Victory brings serenity. I give them a three-piece, that's for the three-peat, and then I leave with the Trinity. True baller got all the amenities. All the others just wanna be mini-me's. Haters mad when they in my vicinity, cause I must be the GOAT. No Ouija board, I just dip in the ghost. Baby, my style is colder than stone. Talking my shit cause I'm doing the most, and I go for the throne. Titanium, I'm T'Challa, the king of vibranium. All this money I count in my cranium. Call me the closer, I fill up the stadium. I'm outside every day, I ain't staying it. I'm like Kobe, I'm playing above the rim. I don't care what they saying, I'm doing me. And when they pay me, they know that they paying him. REITs, Airbnbs, I hear arbitrage and everything. Bank my line if you a developer, contracting company. Double the bag, off and already double the bag. I ain't even mad, I doubled up on all that. Stuff it all in and all black Louis duffel bag. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Black Louis duffel bag. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ain't even mad, I doubled up on all that. Ain't even mad, I doubled the bag, cause I am understood the assignment. Live the statement deals and they switch like a tie-in. I got big relationships, you know I see tied in. Some people they call me the titanium tie-in. I am understood the assignment. Live the statement deals and they switch like a tie-in. I got big relationships, you know I see tied in. Some people they call me the titanium tie-in. Let me learn you, you can see right here. I'ma show you how it all ties in. In the car like a dip tuck. Start to go with it, how I cut these deals. I'm a kitty, so I never lose. These sales need to boost my dudes. Still like clothes, yeah, cut you loose. Had to kick it to the curb and he like, ooh. Let's get you right, man. Let's get you tired. Rock with your boy, the titanium tie-in. Boy, I know you see my TikTok. Hit my YouTube. My reels on IG. Can't close and let him know this Mr. Scene on TV.
What's up, guys? For those of you that don't know, that's my brother and good friend Adam Remy, lead singer of Dropout Kings. He tragically passed away yesterday. Woke up this morning to a text message saying, "Had you heard the news?" Immediately hopped on Facebook and saw the announcement. Just kind of wanted to do a little bit of a tribute there to Adam. Man, it's just he was 32 years old. We wrote that song together, The King Closer. Never thought I'd have an opportunity to ever create music, write a song, anything like that. First time I ever flew out to Phoenix, Arizona to be on Real Estate Disruptors. We were renting the car, and Adam's dad was the guy that was working the counter. And he asked me what kind of music I liked, and I said I love rock and heavy metal. And he said, "Man, my son's a lead singer of a band called Dropout Kings. You got to check them out." And I fell in love with their music. That night, that picture there at the end, I'm not sure if I can bring it back up or not. That picture right there. Cassie and I took that picture with Adam. He was at the bar getting a drink. I walked up to him and introduced myself. And it was just like a surreal moment. And they're not a big band. They did well for themselves. I mean, couple 266,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. I introduced myself, told him that we were huge fans, told him the story about meeting his dad. That's how we became fans. And he actually recognized me. He said, man, you're the Hello, This Is RJ guy. You use all of our music all over your TikTok. And from there, we became friends. We traded cell phone numbers. I came up with the idea of writing a song together, and we released The King Closer. We had such a good time writing it together. Then we wrote 11 out of 10. We were in the middle of writing a third song together. We had plans on working with several different bands, like The Browning, The Defect, Conquer Divide, just different bands that I love to listen to. And Adam gave me an opportunity to do something that I never thought I would ever get to do. And tragically last night, we lost him to suicide. And it's horrible. I don't understand it. I don't think many people do. I've been lucky enough not to know a ton of people that have taken their own life. But Adam always seemed happy. He was married. He had an 18-month-old. Just, guys, if you're hurting out there, reach out to somebody. Have a conversation. I don't know if Adam did or not. I knew something wasn't right, and I had reached out to him numerous times to try to have a conversation with him. But I wasn't able to get a hold of him. And it's horrible, man. It's horrible. So, wanted to say something before we get on to today's topic. Show my respects to Adam. I love you, brother. I'm going to miss you. All right. I'm going to try to get through this as best I possibly can because obviously my head's in a different place today. But we don't miss a day around here. So, especially Tuesdays at 2:22, baby. Listen, I have a responsibility to you guys. And so we're still going to get through this. Today, we're going to be talking about our shady wholesalers ruining our industry, the industry that puts food on the table for my family and everyone in this office. This comes from a post that was in our free Facebook group, The Vault. And I've seen different posts. This is actually going to be one of a couple of videos of posts inside the Vault asking questions, concerns about what's going on in the industry. I'm just going to read this. This comes from Sean. Sean said, I'm sorry, but the wholesaling industry is getting much more difficult. Not because of the market. I thrive in difficult markets. But this is just too much. Not because of regulation, laws, competition, skills, or systems. We've got most of that locked in. It's getting difficult because inexperienced wholesalers are offering way too much. I'm losing deals because of this. This is the fourth deal this month. Here are the numbers for the latest deal I lost after months of rigorous follow-ups and great rapport building. After repair value, $200,000. Repairs, $30,000 conservatively. He offered $120,000 to $130,000, which is a really good offer range. I also have a VIP buyer in the area who has already offered me $138,000, which would net me at least $8,000. However, the seller said they have cash offers ready at $150,000 and $155,000. In my area, if a wholesaler locks this up under contract for $150,000, it will never sell. I know my local market like the back of my hand, and this price doesn't make sense. Running the numbers, it's not feasible. Logically speaking, it doesn't add up. I thought I was crazy, so I asked my buyer, and they said, I'm not going to give you $150,000. It ain't even worth it. They sent me their calculations, which showed a 7% rate of return. That's crazy. This month, I've been through this scenario 4 different times. This isn't competition. It's ruining the industry. I appreciate healthy competition, but this isn't it. Thank you, Sean. So, Sean, I appreciate the post. I'm going to give my take on this, as well as other factors in regards to shady wholesalers and the tactics that are being used and some of the regulations that are coming down, and how I think that is going to impact the wholesaling industry. A couple things that I want to talk about there in regards to Sean's post there. One, it's not this is not the first time that some wholesalers come in and offer too much for a property, right? It's pretty common. I don't think this is a new thing that could potentially ruin wholesaling. If anything, I feel like that's been around since I've been in the industry, and I'm assuming even prior to that. Why? Because it's a low barrier to entry industry, right? You don't really even have to be trained whatsoever. I mean, to go in and offer something on a property is, I mean, you don't have to be anything. You can just, a regular person can come in and offer whatever they want for a property. So running numbers incorrectly is commonplace in this industry. Now, in his scenario where he was willing to offer 130,000 and there's offers for 150 and 155, I know that he says that he's got everything on lockdown, right? It's not because of skills or systems or anything like that. But one paragraph down, it says that he had done months of rigorous follow-ups and great rapport building. So when I read this, I see the outcome, but also you have to understand that if you're doing rigorous months of follow-up and you're focused on rapport building over those months, what is that seller doing along the way? Well, of course, that seller is shopping your offer. The other thing is we have no idea that $150,000 offer and that $155,000 offer is a wholesaler. We have no idea. He doesn't know that. He's assuming that it is. That could be an owner-occupant. And then, boom, there's no problem there whatsoever. What if someone's a contractor and they wanted to come along and purchase that property and fix it up and live in it? This might be a better fit for their life. So I think sometimes by nature, we make conclusions and assumptions that this really negative thing is happening inside of our business because we missed out on 4 deals inside of a month. But realistically, this has nothing to do with potential wholesalers. And if that is a wholesaler's offer, then it's not going to go through. So he shouldn't even really be worried about it because you didn't necessarily lose the deal. It's just a temporary postponement of you having the opportunity to close that transaction. I look at this and I always point back anytime I hear this. Cesar Lacosta is the one inside of TU that has been saying this. I think he even commented on Sean's post in the vault. It's music to my ears when I hear a seller tell me this, where I go, well, an offer at $150,000 or $155,000, that makes no sense. Here's my math. Their math has to be very similar. Those numbers don't work out. I don't think that deal, that contract is going to make it to the closing table. So what's your closing date, Mr. Seller? Okay, it's the middle of June. How about I follow up with you in the middle of June? Or when they terminate, why don't you reach back out to me and let's rediscuss my offer and see if we can move forward? It's very common. So for me, it's either one, someone's going to come along and they're going to buy this property for $150,000 to $155,000 for whatever reason, or two, it's going to end in a termination, and you have an opportunity at that point in time to come in if your system and your process is set up correctly. Now, moving away from necessarily Sean's example and just other things that are going on inside of our industry. First and foremost, when we look at our competition, I firmly believe that our competition inside of this industry sucks. Okay. I don't fear the competition whatsoever. I get y'all's questions all the time about, hey, RJ, on speed to lead, should I purchase a lead if it's already been purchased 2, 3, 4, 5 times? And my answer has repeatedly been yes. That should not be the reason why you don't purchase that lead, because one, if it's already sold, it's a refund. Two, your competition sucks. So best case scenario, again, taking a line out of Caesar's book here, if it's already sold or under contract with another wholesaler, refund. Two, you now have a free lead that you can follow up on to see if that contract doesn't actually make it to the closing table. So again, it's a win-win situation for you across the board. Competition being bad is a good thing if you utilize it to your advantage. And I think at times we're so worried about the market being saturated or us calling leads, and they've already talked to 10 other wholesalers. Guys, that's going to happen no matter what you do lead generation wise. Even going back to the texting and cold calling days, we were all pulling the same list. We were all using the same skip tracing services. Now on PPL or running your own PPC campaigns, it's still going to happen. I use the example of getting a lead Zolo lead in the morning, closing it that afternoon, going on to speed to lead, scrolling down and seeing, boom, a lead in the same city, buying the lead, and it was the exact same seller. Sure enough, they had filled out 2 different forms. Why? Because they were motivated. They were going to do everything in their power to make sure that their house got sold. So there is no such thing as an exclusive lead. Don't worry about your competition so much. Worry more about you, and then what happens if the competition has inserted themselves in to already conversating with that seller. It should be an opportunity for you to stand out. The next thing is with your buyers, okay? If this is truly the case where if this is a wholesaler that locked this deal up for $150,000 or $155,000, and Sean believed he needed to lock it up at $130,000 to then dispo it to his end buyer for $138,000, which end buyer is going to be more successful, Sean's or the other wholesalers? The other wholesaler is probably not even going to have an end buyer. This allows you to stand out and crush your competition on the disposition side. You now are actually providing equity to your end buyers and bringing them good deals. It's an opportunity for you to stand out across the board, both on acquisitions and dispositions. The facts are every industry has competition, because if there wasn't competition, then there would be no money to be made. What I mean by that is we're solving a problem. The problems exist, and that's what allows us to make money. The sellers are in debt or a physically distressed property, or there's a situation where they need to sell quickly. This is the problem that comes across. Us having competition is what beats that price down on the disposition side, and it allows us to excel through our skill sets that we develop. This is across any industry. It's not just wholesaling. So, yes, are there bad wholesalers out there that do negative things? Yes, of course. But it does not mean it's necessarily taking food off of your table. Because if a bad wholesaler goes out and locks up a deal and then disposes it for a price that otherwise is not a good deal, that end buyer is going to feel that. Is that end buyer going to want to buy more deals from that wholesaler? Is that transaction going to be successful on the backside? Probably not. But if you're always going out and you're consistently getting good deals and bringing that to your end buyer, and your end buyer is profitable on the flip side of that transaction, they're going to want to continue to do business with you. That's what makes you successful. and the long term. This is what makes it easy to separate yourself from the poor competition. All right. Now, the next thing is when you talk to these sellers, going back to the acquisition side, and say a bad wholesaler has come along and offered them too much money, it's easy to go ahead and establish yourself with like seller allegiance capital. Like, oh man, they offered you $150,000. Man, that's crazy. The most I could offer is $130,000 because of the math. I mean, the house could be worth this much. You said it needs this much to get fixed up, and then at holding costs, closing costs, and my profit. I just can't make those numbers make sense, Mr. and Mr. Seller. I don't think that person is going to be able to perform. So do you mind if I check back in with you right around the closing date to see if they've terminated that? That right there builds immediate credibility when that other wholesaler does inevitably terminate because their numbers were incorrect. It's low-hanging fruit. It's very simple for us to type into our CRMs. Other wholesaler offered $150,000. Most we could offer is $130,000. Closing date's June 6, 2025. Follow up on June 6 to see if that deal closed or not. Do you know how many deals over the past decade we have gotten using that tactic right there? If you're not doing that with every lead that comes in that tells you they're under contract with another wholesaler, you are literally just leaving money out there. You paid for the lead already. I know that you guys are going in and you're cashing in your refunds with the PPL providers. Why not do the exact same thing with the sellers? Follow up. It's 1 or 2 phone calls. It's really not that difficult of a process. And the facts are, this gives you massive trust with the seller. If you call that seller back and they say, yeah, they sure did terminate, that's what I feared, Mr. Seller. What do you think now about my offer of $130,000? I know that my numbers are firm. I told you that 30 days ago. Would you like to move forward with me and see if we can get this deal across the finish line? Massive credibility right there. The next thing is, majority of wholesalers need to quit worrying about what other people are doing and focus on getting better inside of their own business, developing their own skill sets. I mean, again, looking at what Sean posted here about this, he was so worried about the fact that his numbers were correct. He offered $130,000. The other wholesaler or another buyer offered $150,000 and $155,000. And that's why he felt he lost the deal. When I actually look at it, I fear that the reason why he probably lost that deal was not so much the other offers. It was the fact that he allowed the time to lapse where other offers became relevant. Time kills all deals. He said he spent months on follow-up and building rapport. The facts are, I think if we were to look at this and stop worrying about what happened out here, and we worry more about, hey, why weren't we able to close this without doing months of follow-up? Now, there might have been a situation that the months of follow-up was warranted, but I doubt that. I doubt that was the case, because very rarely do we have to do months of follow-up without it just being allowed on our part. The next thing, if you're worried about the market being oversaturated, ask yourself this. Is the problem I'm focused on solving solved? What problems do we solve as wholesalers? New ones pop up every single day by motivated sellers. Divorce, death, inherited property, pre-foreclosure, tax delinquency, vacancy, being a tired landlord. All of these motivating factors that we're constantly talking to, new ones happen every single day. Do you really look around your market and look at your competition and say, these guys have got it figured out? And every single time there's a motivated seller that pops up, they're getting in touch with them faster than I am. I can tell you, if you feel that way, you're delusional. If you think these people have it figured out on how to talk to these sellers and how to solve the problems, again, you're delusional. That's just not the case. I have never actually felt like wholesaling was oversaturated. I think it might be oversaturated in specific markets, might be a little bit more difficult. I saw someone here ask me about my thoughts about Colorado. Denver might be a little bit, quote unquote, oversaturated. But once you get into the other tertiary markets, it's not whatsoever. So quit worrying about that and worry about what you're doing internally. The next thing is, look at where we are sitting right now as a country in regards to debt. That's at an all-time high. People are financially stressed right now. That is the ultimate motivating factor for people wanting and needing to sell a house quickly. If that problem right there were to get solved, then I feel like we might run into an issue. But until it is, I do not think we have any issues whatsoever. Now, looking around some of the other things that are going on in this industry in regards to shady wholesalers ruining our industry, inside the state of Texas, I don't know the specific details. I've seen a couple of posts about it, but just yesterday, it looks like a seller is now going to have the ability to remove a memorandum of contract by signing an affidavit. Now, why is that the case? A memorandum of contract was a tool that was provided to protect buyers from having sellers go around us. Mr. Seller, I can offer you $100,000. By us, I mean any buyer, not just wholesalers, just any buyer in general. Mr. Seller, I can offer you $100,000. Next buyer comes along 2 weeks later after we've done our inspection and all that, offers $105,000. Now, at this point, the seller can actually get your memorandum removed. Why is that the case in the state of Texas? I believe it's because wholesalers have misused this tool. I have run across numerous situations where a wholesaler had zero intentions of trying to close on this deal, got it under contract, filed a memorandum, and then just let that memorandum sit until someone else came along, aka me, got it under contract, disposed it, opened up title, and found out there's a memorandum, and then they wanted their payday. I've actually heard across the industry, there are several people that's their entire business. That's their actual business strategy. Now, that's pathetic. And yes, those wholesalers, they didn't ruin our industry, but they are going to make changes to our industry. And I welcome the change. Personally, we don't believe in filing memorandums around here. If the seller really wants to get out of the contract that bad, there's a problem. I'll let them go. It's just like if I talk to a jerk on the phone. Hey, I choose who I want to do business with. I embrace being the buyer. If I don't need to do that deal, I'm not going to do business with someone I don't want to do business with. It's the same thing here. If they truly don't want to sell me their house anymore, then fine. We terminate it. We move on to the next. There's no shortage of deals out there. So the memorandum has been misused. And because of that, now there is a bill being passed where sellers could just have memorandums removed. This is what I foresee happening more across our wholesaling industry, is that the tools that have been available to us that we can use and we can leverage in the right circumstances are going to be removed from us, and more leverage is going to be handed over to the sellers because of us. Now, personally, I welcome the majority of this. The reason why is because we do business transparently and authentically. And we'll tell sellers, we're a wholesaler. We'll tell sellers straight up, we want to do a novation or subject to the existing mortgage or seller finance. We actually use the correct terms. We don't make things up and we don't lie. And because of that, the deals actually make it to the closing table because they don't feel misguided. They don't feel like they were lied to. And I feel like some of these states where now the sellers have the right to back out of contracts all the way up to the day of closing, that is a direct response to the way that wholesalers have navigated their transactions. And so moving forward, what's going to happen is if you are a wholesaler that has not done things transparently and authentically and told the truth, you're probably going to miss out on deals. There's going to be circumstances where a seller does back out on you the day before closing. But for us, I don't really fear that. I feel like it's just another tool in our tool belt where we can address it up front. This is the situation. These are your rights. These are my rights. This is how we would like to handle the transaction. Are we on the same page? And move forward. The same way that we've always done business. So for me, I don't necessarily believe that the shady wholesalers have ruined our industry. I think they're just changing it. And in regards to that, I do think some people are going to be negatively impacted. The ones that haven't done business the correct way. Now, the other part of this, and a sad part of this, is as these regulations come down, I think the people that are going to be impacted the most are sellers. And the reason why is because it is going to eliminate some competition. And when competition gets eliminated, what happens? Well, my price goes down because I don't have as much competition. So instead of having to offer a seller $30,000 for their house, I can now come in and I can offer $20,000 to $25,000 because I have much less competition, and I also know how to get around the hurdles that exist. So I foresee in the future there will be some struggles for some wholesalers. Of course there will be. And some of them, some of you probably listening to this right now, will be run out of this industry. For the rest of us that stay around and make it through those tough times, we're going to figure it out. We're going to realize that there's less competition and we are going to be able to profit more. So in the long run, what I foresee happening in our industry across the board is that tools that we have had for our leverage points are going to be taken away and given to sellers for their leverage. And in return, competition is going to be weeded out inside of our industry. And the ones that are left standing after that are now going to make more money than they ever have. So are wholesalers ruining the industry? No. I think they're temporarily giving us a very bad look. I wish things would change. I wish we could self-regulate ourselves and actually behave like real businesses do. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. So I do see more regulations, more rules, more leverage points getting used against us. Because of that, in the long run, I think we will make more money. All right. That being said, I do want to open this up for Q&A for you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. Hopefully you got some value out of the talking point there. David Olds, man, over at Easy REI Closing said, nothing is oversaturated. Most investors don't even answer the phone or call them back. Have confidence in you and your team to help sellers. That is an absolute fact, David. In fact, David, I'm glad you brought this up. I'm going to write this down right now. I'm actually going to do a series. I'm going to record this on Thursday. I'm going to do a video where I am going to try to sell a property. And I'm going to try to sell that property by calling wholesalers. I'm going to record the process to see how long it takes for me to sell a property. Yeah, buddy. That one's going to be good. You guys got no questions? There's 50 of y'all on here. Robert says he prefers honesty and transparency. What's up, Pamela? 50% of the Pams. Man, I wish I could say that. Mahalo, Nualoa. Man, I know how to say it. I just don't know how to say it. For the comping and thank you. That's how I say it. For the comping and underwriting training, my third week using it, and I'm improving. I love it. Did DeGrazio get involved today? He was on the implementation call. It was awesome. Robert said, I just need to sharpen what I already have and build a solid team. Yes, sir. So Jonesy brought up DeGrazio. I'll tell that story. I told it last night on Wholesale Hotline, but DeGrazio was actually a seller, and one of the TU members needed to renegotiate the price, And he said the seller said he wouldn't renegotiate. And so I said, you want me to call the seller and talk to him? Because I looked at the pictures and it was like, there's no reason why the seller would not renegotiate. So I called him. DeGrazio was the seller. And by the end of the conversation, we had agreed that we were going to dispo the deal, move forward with the deal. And then he went and joined TU. So he actually hopped on the Zoom call, was on there with everybody. It was an incredible experience. Tyson said, I'm grinding. RJ just sent a contract. I'm excited to get signed and send to Danny Herman. Yeah, buddy. Good job, Tyson. Jocelyn says, get your opinion on starting wholesale in the Tacoma, Washington market. So, Jocelyn, what I will say is Tacoma and pretty much everywhere in Washington State is difficult. I mean, it's a difficult location for various different reasons. I mean, it is higher price points, high appreciation market. There's competition. It's I would consider it to be highly competitive. You also have the excise tax working against you there in Washington State. That impacts some wholesale deals. Jocelyn, what I would ask you is, why do you want to wholesale in Tacoma, Washington? Is it because you feel like you have an advantage there because you're from there, you live there, maybe you understand the market, you already have buyers? If you don't have any of that working for you, then I would look elsewhere. It wouldn't necessarily be one of the first places that I would want to wholesale. No, Jonesy, I have not disposed today. Buddy, the news about Adam this morning got threw me for a loop. I did the implementation call, and then I prepped for today's live, and just haven't really done a whole lot in regards to work. I'll get on that soon, though. Tyson said, I want to give you money. First deal I'm there with TU. Gotcha. Love it, man. Can't wait to have you. Any advice on rural deals to dispo? Well, the dispositions process does not change because of the location or it being a rural property in comparison to it being in a major metro. It means that more often than not, you just have less buyers to reach out to. So if anything, it should start with the acquisitions phase and make sure you're actually getting a really good deal. Because the deal, it needs to sell itself. And what happens on rural is not necessarily that it's difficult to move. It's that your buyers know that they're one of the very few. And so they beat you up on price because they want a better deal. Now, in regards to the softwares that you should use, I mean, it's the same: Investor Lift, Investor Base, Deal Speed. You can gold mine inside of PropStream and Privy. I have videos in regards to that process. But nothing should change there. It should just probably be a little bit more work of identifying the real buyers. But then it's just about getting a hold of them and presenting the deal appropriately. I was with two of my favorites the other day. Jerry Norton and Brent Daniels have given me great advice, but I'm excited to graduate to TU. Love it, man. Wendy says, my condolences. I started watching a week ago, and I'm hooked. I appreciate that, Wendy. I appreciate the condolences as well. Loved Adam, man. He was a great guy. I'm just heartbroken for his wife and his son. And his bandmates. Bill's been an awesome guy to get to know over the years. And yeah, man, just tragic situation. CEO Rico says, I still lack confidence with being on the phone with sellers. Give me a quick tip on how you would overcome that. Rico, man, I just did a video like a week and a half ago. It's 5 minutes long. It's one of the wholesale quickies. It's the 6 steps to unshakable confidence. I would go back and watch that, but I'll give you a quick rundown. 1, understand that they need you more than you need them. All right. They have a property to sell. You could literally go out and buy any property, right? So embrace your role in this. They need to sell you. 2, be prepared when you get on the phone. Have your contract up, have your comping software up. Be ready to actually understand, analyze the deal. And then the next thing is listen to what the seller is telling you is most important to them. This is where most people get wrapped up in comping and underwriting and not doing a good enough job of listening during the conversation. It's really just embrace the fact that this person really, if they're truly motivated to sell a house, they're trying to express as best as they possibly can why they need to sell this property for a discount. It's one of the largest assets they're going to own, if not the largest asset that they're going to own in their life, and they're willing to sell that for a discount. So look at it as you know a lot more about the situation than they do. Like, go into it, it's like you actually, even if you're brand new, you understand more about real estate than the majority of sellers. So just embrace that role, ask questions. Man, the majority of the time, it's just questions. Like, you don't have to have the right thing to say. It's just ask enough questions and they'll tell you what you need to say. Do we communicate right away with sellers that tell you they're going to sign right away but haven't yet? Absolutely. Tyson, I've always said this. I'm okay missing out on a deal because I was too aggressive with follow-up. I'm not okay if I miss out on a deal because I didn't follow up enough. Victor says, I used to live close to Portland, Oregon, roughly 30 minutes. I'm thinking of taking that on market too. What should be aware of? Best way to wholesale. Victor, I would wholeheartedly disagree with wanting to go to Oregon right now. They have one of the worst regulations coming down, I believe, in July. Is essentially just destroying wholesale. So I would look into that regulation. I understand you used to live close to Portland, but honestly, man, that's just irrelevant. Like, you don't need to know. The numbers tell you. The comps will tell you if it's a deal or not. That's more important than like, hey, I used to be here. I used to know. I've lived in Fort Worth my whole life. Dallas, Fort Worth. There's still places I've never been. Still places I don't know about. So I honestly, of all the regulations that have come down, I believe Oregon's is the worst. Oregon, South Carolina, and then followed by probably Pennsylvania. And again, I think in the long run, those states are going to feel the pain of these regulations. Should you have a cutoff time for time zones and or call start times? I don't call after 5:45. I think 5:45 might be a little bit early. Because think about it. I mean, if some people work till 5, 30 minutes to get home, you know, I mean, that next hour might be the most advantageous time frame that you have to get a hold of them. So I think that's a little bit early. I wouldn't go all the way to 8:30. But, I mean, if you have the availability, I mean, I would still call. I used to always call it till 6. My team works normally 6:30. But, again, I mean, it's not like we won't do it at 7 o'clock. It's just that we're not doing it 8:30, 9 o'clock, right? Any other questions? All right. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions, I appreciate you bearing with me. I don't think this is the best live I've ever had. But understandably so. I hope so. My head was in a little bit of a different place. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me today. Hopefully you got value out of it. If you did, make sure you like the video and say a prayer for Adam's family and everyone that was impacted by that tragedy. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back at it tomorrow. See you guys then.